I don't know how it's possible at this point, but we are still getting leak and data mine information from existing Pokemon games. So it all started with Pokemon Home when it came out. Then it happened again with Pokemon Home right before the Isle of Armor update happened. Then when the Isle of Armor update happened, there was so much game data for the Crown Tundra, it's practically playable. And now this, Pokemon Home's personal data includes Isle of Armor Tutor compatibility for every Pokemon. And we're talking into the National Dex, every Pokemon, not just the confirmed Pokemon for the Crown Tundra, Isle of Armor, or anything, just every Pokemon. So we're going to break that down. If you end up enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like. Definitely share this one with your friends on social media, and let's get into it. So the first thing is, don't take this list as a way of saying a Pokemon is coming back. If Weedle can learn Skittersmack, it doesn't mean it's confirmed. And this is going back to one of the other many Crown Tundra leaks. If you're not caught up to speed, if you don't know the Crown Tundra Dex at this point, if you don't know about the data mine and leak information up to this, recommend checking out the description down below, because there's so many videos worth. So because of the way that Pokedex data is handled in Pokemon Home and the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, we know that Beedrill or the Weedle evolutionary line is not going to be in the game. However, if we look at the list of how the Tutor moves are lining up, we have Beedrill here with Skittersmack, Dual Wing Beat, and then, as he said, Weedle with Skittersmack. But one thing you have to look at is that even with Isle of Armor Pokemon already confirmed to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield because they are in the games right now, not all of them got move tutors. So one getting one not getting one, it's not really going to mean anything. However, this does affect the future of Pokemon. If they do have like a National Dex Battle Revolution or Battle Stadium or like Pokemon Stadium kind of game, then this is where it's going to apply. Or maybe Generation 4 remakes, the future of Pokemon. These are where the new tutors are kind of getting placeholders for now. Maybe this will change. Maybe this is what Game Freak has planned, because they are already way down the roadmap as to how Pokemon games are going to launch. But this is where we start getting to the discussion part of the video and breaking things down. I'm excited for Grassy Glide Tapu Bulu. Yeah, they did it. It's going to be like that. So we can just kind of go through this and have a little bit of fun, but the fun doesn't just end there, because we also know from the other Pokemon Home Datamine the movesets of the Pokemon that are coming back for the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. And my goodness, the Tapu Bulu get a major buff, and we know it's going to be in there because of the new legendary raid feature for like the Max, what are they called, Dynamax Adventures? So yeah, that. We know a lot of shenanigans are going down, and we have the moveset, and Tapu Bulu gets nutty because we have Play Rough. So we have the 130 stab, physical attacking, Play Rough coming in, also getting close combat with the TRs, and then putting Grassy Glide on top of that. It looks like Game Freak just wants to put, as you can see, it's illegal because it wasn't in Generation 7. Now it's in Generation 8. So it almost feels like Game Freak wants to put some legendary Pokemon just like in their own tier of ridiculousness. Or maybe they just want them to be like OP, like just stronger than the average Pokemon. Because it does get to the point where it's like, well, Tapu Bulu was used a bit, but it wasn't as like good as Tapu Lele or Tapu Koko. And then there's just other regular Pokemon that are way better and way more used. So now Tapu Bulu has this. It's still slow. Doesn't want Choice Scarf, but I mean, it gets the Grassy Glide on a 130 attack. However, people are like, look at that like, oh man, Grassy Glide, Tapu Bulu, game's over instantly. Not necessarily, because Rillaboom is a 125 attack, so if you're not paying attention to the individual numbers, Tapu Bulu isn't going to hit much harder than Rillaboom. Now, there's like a 95% damage Pokemon that like a Choice Band Rillaboom can't KO for certain, then Tapu Bulu can pick it off, but that's kind of going to be it. Tapu Bulu is also in this weird state of frailness, because we look at Rillaboom, 100 hit points. That's a lot of hit points. 90 defense. Well, Rillaboom is actually defensively tankier than Tapu Bulu. Then we have 95 special defense, but I mean 7100 is still really good. Tapu Bulu has throwaway special attack that's not going to use, and it's also 10 speed slower than Rillaboom. Now the priority kind of gets rid of that on the Grassy Glide, so I mean it's still disgusting. Like on paper, it's like, okay, you can't give these Pokemon these kinds of things, but they did. And now we kind of have to deal with it. So instead of playing Rillaboom, some people might just throw out Tapu Bulu because it's the same idea. Choice Bandit, Insta Grassy Surge, now it's extra nasty, and if it doesn't want to go Choice, or you can do like some speed shenanigans with it, Tailwind, Whimsicott with Tapu Bulu, now you also have like Play Rough Threat, close combat coverage. It can come in to follow up some other things. It can be also better for like getting rid of some terrains with like its speed and how it can enter. I don't know. Things are about to get weird. And then we can also go and bring up Tapu Lele. So Tapu Lele, it's going to get Expanding Force. I'm 130 special. Okay, it's getting Expanding Force. That's cool. Let's go and look at some of the other Pokemon that's like, all right, yeah, we know legendaries are in. We know all these things are going to be happening. What about Nidoking? So I just pretty much like scrolled through the list. I'm looking for kind of interesting Pokemon, things that are worth talking about, not necessarily if they're good or not. So I feel like a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, yo, Nidoking gets Scorching Sands. That's going to be like that good burn chance right there. Because Nidoking is a really weird Pokemon. It doesn't get Scald, but because of archaic shenanigans, it gets Surf. So you just have like good special water coverage. And Scorching Sands, unfortunately, like because it's listed as illegal in Pokemon Showdown, I can't show you the actual effect. Most of you should know about it. And it's kind of like hard to kind of like sort through it. So I'm just going to kind of go through it as we go. So Scorching Sands is a weaker Scald. It's only 70 power instead of 80. And I think that's why it's bad. Like, even though it has a 30% chance to inflict burn, because like similar to Scald, the reason why Scald works is because there's a lot of special attacking water Pokemon that are filthy ridiculous in damage, and then it gets boosted even more in rain. So I mean, that 10 power makes an insane amount of difference, whereas there's not a lot of ground special attackers, or even like fire type Pokemon that get the ground coverage. It would be way better at 80 instead of 70, so we don't really see it that often. And Nidoking, it has the privilege of being like the best or one of the best ground special attacking Pokemon, especially with that sheer force. So Scorching Sands doesn't matter. You're never burning it with Nidoking when you're using that sheer force to get all the damage and all like the stab shenanigans and stuff. So Earth Power is just better. So Scorching Sands Nidoking, I don't think is going to do anything. It's definitely not bulky enough to survive hits to like fish for a potential burn chance maybe. So it's just going to be the same special attackers. Scorching Sands isn't going to change anything. That's what I'm talking about when I was like, okay, let's just investigate cool things that's going to happen with some of these Pokemon. Another move that seems like it would be cool on the Pokemon that's coming out, but probably isn't going to do anything, Dual Wing Beat. People are looking at like, well, Dual Wing Beat means you're hitting like a powerful physical flying move that's lacking outside of like acrobatics or fly, but fly takes up a turn and then could cause a lot of problems if the opponent just sets up against you for free, or bounce even and stuff like that. So Dual Wing Beat's like, it's damage and it's there, and a lot of physical Pokemon need it. However, Crobat already has its own shenanigans. You go Curse, Acrobatics, and you got +1 double damage Acrobatics. It's already really good, and then Crobat can also Infiltrator. So I don't think Crobat is going to use the Dual Wing Beat either. I think that just kind of like shows, when you look at the list of moves, there's like the Tutor moves are mostly bad. Like, you just don't see them, and only certain Pokemon get to use certain of the Tutor moves. Like Triple Axle, I've seen it on some Pokemon, but either the Pokemon weren't viable and the move isn't good enough to make that Pokemon viable on its own, or just like niche, okay, that kind of works out. It's mostly just like Grassy Glide for that priority in certain setups is really nice. Misty Explosion, haven't seen it. Rising Voltage, getting kind of common, but still kind of situational on the terrains. Terrain Pulses, whatever. Skitter Smack, it's just not a good move. Burning Jealousy is one of those moves that kind of sounded cool. It inflicts damage to all adjacent opponents and will burn any opponent that increase their stats. So I mean, if they actually like let's say it's a Gyarados that's trying to set up an Airstream and then gain speed and then attack and then Moxie, you get a free burn while doing damage. Well, in Gyarados' case, it's not taking a lot of damage because it's a water type Pokemon. Or in theory, it's like, oh, it's a Dragon Dance Pokemon, it's a Swords Dance Pokemon, you get a free burn while doing some chip. The 80 base power just isn't a lot, and then it's just a short list of Pokemon that kind of maybe could possibly sometimes make decent use of it, but it does burn both opponents if like they go for a Dynamax move before you. So if they're going for an Airstream, Max Knuckle, and everyone's gaining stats, Steel Spike, etc., it works out. Poltergeist is pretty useful, but not a lot of Pokemon get it because most Ghost type Pokemon are special, not physical. Corrosive Gas, haven't seen it. Coaching, haven't seen it. Flip Turn, U-turn, Volt Switch, or meh moves anyway. And Dual Wing Beat, again, it gives you that fly risk. And now we're at the end of it. So there's all the moves, guys. Well, actually, no, that's not up. Because they did this weird thing where, like, Shell Sidearm gets in the middle of all of these. I mean, like, Meteor Beam's good. Scale Shot, most Pokemon that get it want a Dragon Dance anyways. Steel Roller, incredibly situational. Expanding Force, it works, but again, situational, and then it's like immune by dark type Pokemon. So when you look at like, yeah, not a lot of Pokemon are going to be able to do too many insane things with it. Fortress might be a really good Steel Roller Pokemon, just because it's like the OG Ferrothorn. It effectively wants to do like some kind of suicide setup. So maybe like Steel Roller Explosion, get rid of their terrain, do a lot of damage. Instead of like Stealth Rock Spikes Explosion or something. Still has good defensive bulk, so if they lead a physical Pokemon, you got things to do against it. It also has like Rapid Spin, so it's like a setup, anti-setup Pokemon, so you can do something like this that just gives you a lot more options on the Fortress, and you can leave it on an Explosion. Explosion gonna hurt, no matter what this thing does. Max out hit points, maybe max out special defense, defensive nature, if Fortress comes back, because I don't think... Was Pineco on the list of Pokemon? I just checked. It isn't. So this is one of the examples of like, yeah, it gets a tutor move, but there's nothing to suggest it's going to be appearing anytime soon. Reiko. You might have seen him hanging around here. Well, it's going to get the obvious one. Rising Voltage. That's another thing about these moves. Like, even though I'm not showing each and individual, every Pokemon, every non-existing National Dex, unreleased move tutor thing, you can kind of get an idea of the Pokemon that's going to get it, and if it makes sense or works out on the Pokemon. Like, even when you just look at the existing list of move tutor moves, you don't like immediately think like, oh, this is going to be busted on that Pokemon. The moves are good, and some of them just kind of come through as like, all right, there's a chance that something cool could come from that. So if you think like, okay, where's an electric special attacker? Probably might get Rising Voltage, doesn't make it any better. Like Ampharos gets Rising Voltage. Doesn't do anything though. Okay then. So that's kind of thing, but Reiko with Rising Voltage, that can be pretty scary. So there's gonna be a lot of combos. Here's the thing, going back to this, so with like the Tapu Pokemon and getting extra moves and fun stuff like that, that's where I pulled that from. We found out Sceptile is going to be in the Crown Tundra, and Sceptile gets Dragon Dance. So it doesn't really care for like Scale Shot or anything. And it has Grassy Glide, or it's going to be getting Grassy Glide. It's more of a special attacker. 85 Grassy Glide is whatever. Can Swords Dance in the Grassy Glide. It has natural speed though, so I mean, like, do you just Dragon Dance and then just use Seed Bomb because it's going to be more damage? You also need the grassy terrain to get it set up, so you could like Dynamax to bring your own grassy terrain, then come out of it with Grassy Glide. That doesn't make too much sense. So I mean, it's mostly just going to be like Dragon Dance, Sceptile, maybe Anti-Stall, set up in its face, do things, and hopefully it's kind of cool. It's like there's some things that are happening here. Salamence, dual Wing Beat versus Fly. So Salamence isn't going to have Mega anymore, so it's not going to turn... And also Return's gone. So it's not like you can turn Return into an Aerial Late crazy move after a Dragon Dance or anything. It's just going to be regular Salamence. Regular Salamence was good back in like Generation 4, 5. I don't even know if it really got super amounts of play in X and Y, but it does have that Moxie potential. So like things can happen here with the Salamence, and yeah, it can just do things. But dual Wing Beat has regular stab. Gonna lose a lot of damage, gonna lose a lot of shenanigans. I guess until you get your first KO, it's instant damage. But then, like, that's where we get into the weird Fly discussion. Because, like I said, Fly is bad for having the opponent set up against you, but it's also good on some Pokemon. Because if you're faster than them and you fly and they're Dynamaxed, they lose a turn of Dynamax for free. So it can have its own benefit, but then you only get, like, outside of Dynamax, now you can't really use it for stab, and then you're restricted to Dragon Claw, and then one extra coverage move, usually Earthquake or something like that. So things are going to be weird for the Salamence. Does open up the dual Wing Beat option, just kind of like regularly slap at a Pokemon, but 135 attack, 80 base power, even if you Dragon Dance, even if it's doubled into a Moxie. Some Pokemon are just going to take it and not really care too much, and maybe set up against you, and you're still 4 times weak to Ice. Yikes. Metagross gets a lot of stuff. And as just a beefy pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Steel Roller, Expanding Force, Meteor Beam, I think it's to make use of all of these in kind of its own way. Like, Meteor Beam would be the tricky one. Like, in the ideal world, maybe you go Agility, take the hit, survive, but now you're faster, and then you outspeed White Herb Meteor Beam to just finish off an opponent, and now you're +1 special attack, and then you still have good special coverage and stuff like that. Actually, we can check. If it gets Steel Beam, that could be a thing. Can also like Dynamax after that, so like you +1 the special attack, and then you Dynamax for like extra stats and stuff. So there'd be some weird obscure combos. But if it can get like a turn to just be beefy, it might do something there. Also has Expanding Force, so that's something you can open up to. And then Steel Roller. like, Metagross just teching in the Steel Roller, probably going to be very successful. Especially if you just, like, use it as a lead or a, like, secondary bring-in Pokemon if they're trying to, like, go away with shenanigans too much. 70 speed does kind of restrict it, but it's not the end of the world, and they can still, like, clip some Pokemon. So, it's going to be interesting to see if it makes use of any of these. But there are some extra tools, and Metagross is just a good Pokemon. Registeel with Steel Roller. Like, the Steel Roller Pokemon are in an interesting spot, because you're not seeing Steel Roller, even though everyone keeps talking about how they want to see Steel Roller. It's really good tech, but a lot of the Pokemon that get it don't make super good use of it. However, when you look at a Pokemon like Fortress, what else is it going to do? Registeel is already an annoying stall Pokemon, so if they like start trying to ramp up with like some kind of terrain shenanigans, or if you predict it into a Dynamax, now you got a bulky, just legendary Pokemon that's not going to care and just roll it on a Steel Roller and then get that extra bonus damage and then like actually hurt while still setting up and being annoying. Lake Spirits get Expanding Force, once again in that line of, hey, if this gets the thing, is it good? Maybe. Leavanny, Grassy Glide, so another one of the Grassy Glide Pokemon just do a thing. 103 attack, more than Sceptile, less than the other two Pokemon that people are scared about. It's Leavanny, sometimes you see it, but if it chlorophylls, then you don't really care about the priority as much, so it's Leavanny. And then we can look at some of the other Pokemon. Archeops gets Meteor Beam. Oh, that's spicy to me. That's spicy. Stab, Special, Rock, 112 on a 110 speed. White Herbing it is kind of crazy, but then you like look at the rest of its special coverage. Still has the Dragon Pulse, has the Earth Power, has a Heat Wave, so it has competent special to back it up outside of that. It doesn't get like the Flying Stab, but you got +1 coverage. If you're hitting super effective hits, you might be in an okay position. Is it going to work? Who knows? But free stats while just like wrecking someone, it's going to be pretty nice. Meteor Beam has a very high damage at 120. So 120 stab power, 112. Hey, getting the +1 special attack. Hey, actually the +1 special attack will apply, then hit it. So I think that's what makes Meteor Beam super good. So on turn selected, raise special attack, and then you Power Herb it and shenanigans. Did I say White Herb or did I say Power Herb? You know the one. It's good. And now you just kind of, like, that's one-shot potential. That's a hurt-y Pokemon, and then just hope you can coverage out. Defeatus is always an issue. Don't let Defeatus get in your way. I just want to show Greninja. Everyone loves Greninja. They want it to come back. They want to use it. They think it's strong. Skitter Smack is all it gets. Can't do dick with that, so that's a thing. Carbink gets Misty Explosion. It's a setup Pokemon, but 50 special attack, Misty Explosion also is dependent on the terrain. Doesn't really do anything. So it just kind of shows like there's some interesting things that might come out of this. That's mostly what I saw. Maybe I'm missing one or two. Comment down below if you think there's like some really cool things that are going to happen with the National Dex. But for the most part, I think it's just a failing of like trying to make, I think Game Freak got a little too cute with some of these moves, and because of that they're a little underpowered or too situational, when there's just like consistently good and safe Pokemon that don't care, or the good and safe Pokemon got a tutor move, and then they can just kind of like make slightly better use of it, and then you don't really have too much going on with it. Or maybe the consistently good Pokemon that Game Freak wanted to give the tutor move are the reasons why the tutor move isn't as strong as it should be. Weird stuff like that. So there we go, guys, breaking it down. Still very interesting to talk about, if not for the whole National Dex argument, if not just kind of like compare it to other Pokemon, if not just kind of see what to expect in the coming times. Also, we still have leaks and Datamine stuff. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.